The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and over 25 podcast platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with a wonderful lady who grew up in Rockville, Illinois, and went to Houston. And one of her daughter happens to be a very, very, very successful singer and songwriter. We had her daughter on the program about last month, and looking forward to having her back on and pairing up with a wonderful lady who raised her right and do very, very well. She is also the owner of a website, Bethielife.com. She's also involved with the Houston Ballet, and she's also involved in a number of organizations. And live from beautiful Houston, Texas, from the Plus Studios, ladies and gentlemen, live from the studio, Beth Muecke. Beth, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Good afternoon. It's wonderful to be here.
Well, it's wonderful to have you on as well, too. So you were born and raised in Rockford, and you moved to Houston, and you're involved with the Houston Ballet, and, of course, Junior League of Houston. You're also owner of Bethielife.com. You also got a blog out there involving fashion, and you also collaborate with numerous organizations in Houston, and you support the Houston Ballet, and your daughter, Kendra, happens to be very successful with Kendra and the Bunnies. So that's the ones who, a very, very nice connection. Love to have you both collaborate. Maybe both can sing together. And before we get into your success with Bethielife.com and your life as well, too, tell us how you first got started.
You mean with my website?
You can do that, or you can first got started, starting in Rockford and working way to Houston into your career in ballet, dancing, Houston, everything else. So
Gotcha.
Pick either one.
So I grew up in Rockford, Illinois, as you stated, which is right there on the Wisconsin border, about 90 miles northwest of Chicago. And it was a great thing, and I was studying to be a ballerina. Anyway, when it was time to go to college, my father, who went to University of Illinois, and my mother went to U of I, and my brother went to Iowa State, he took me down into his study, and he said, "Which Big Ten schools are you going to apply to?" And I said, "None of them. It's cold up here." And my dad was mortified because he grew up on a farm. We have a long history of Scottish farming in our family. And I said, I want to go to California or Texas. And my dad was like, what? Because I knew no one in either state, and I had never been to Texas. So I applied to 2 schools in California and 2 in Texas, got into 3 out of 4 of them, and ended up at UT in Austin. It was a great experience. I loved Austin. I became a sorority girl, and my freshman year, my pledge class, I was literally the only out-of-stater in the pledge class. And I had that Midwestern accent, and all the girls were like, who is this girl? And how did she get in here? What the heck? But I later went on and became president of that chapter my senior year. So, you can overcome your obstacles if you try hard. Anyway, when it was time to graduate from college, I asked a lot of my sorority sisters, should I go to Dallas or Houston? I want to stay down in Texas. And they said, go to Houston. We think you'll really fit in well there. And they were right. So I moved here in 1982 and worked, got married, and raised children. And while I was raising my children, I became involved. First and foremost, I decided to become involved with Houston Ballet because I used to be a ballerina. Mm-hmm. And so I started going to their activities in the late 80s and worked my way up through that. And I also became active in the Junior League of Houston. I was president of the March of Dimes Guild. I was president of DePelchin Children's Center, and did a lot of philanthropic work throughout the Houston community, with Houston Ballet always being my number one. And so today I have been on the board of Houston Ballet for 20 years. And, I love them. It's like, my home away from home.
Wow. That is amazing. And, and of course, you've been in Houston for quite some time. Who are some of your favorite performers growing up, especially in ballet?
Oh, gosh, you're testing my memory here a little bit. In ballet, I used to like, the traditional classic ballet dancers that you would see on TV back in those days. But I also liked the ones on TV. I used to like to watch Sid Charisse or Fred Astaire, all the way to Shirley MacLaine, who was just a dancer. I love any kind of Gene Kelly. I love any kind of dancers. I like modern dancers, jazz. I like them all. And I like how dance has evolved through the years. Mm-hmm. I loved the street dancing that developed in the 80s and 90s. Hip hop, jazz, I love it all.
Wow, that is amazing. And what are some of your favorite movies growing up involving dancing? Sounds like you've really enjoyed a lot, especially with Fred Astaire and more.
Yeah, I love, all the way from West Side Story, which is before my time, all the way to some of the more contemporary dance movies like Center Stage. And, there was one with Shirley MacLaine, but I don't remember the name of it right now. But I like a lot of dance films, throughout the ages. And I like a lot of the contemporaries. The other thing I love is, I love to watch the dance in music videos. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So anything dance related, I like to watch it.
Uh-huh. It sounds like a lot as well, too. We'll also talk about going from over to ballet and getting into your website as well, too, involving fashion in just a minute. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can also check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and over 25 podcast platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with Beth Muecke of Bethielife.com, and her daughter happens to be a well-known singer and band leader for Kendra and the Bunnies. We had her on last month or so on the Mike Wagner Show. Love to have the two back on and, talk a little more about some of the ballet and what are some of the recent events that you've held recently, and what do you have coming up in terms of, being with the Houston Ballet, some of the events despite the pandemic and more?
Well, I have some bad news on that. The pandemic has really affected the arts organizations and the ability to fill theater seats. I don't know if many people know this, but Houston has the largest number of theater seats outside of New York City. So we're a very devoted arts city. We have a lot of facilities. We're Houston Ballet, Houston Grand Opera, local theaters, we have a lot of theater going on here, and it has basically been shut down. So it's been very, very difficult this year. Houston Ballet puts on one of the premier nutcrackers every year that is known throughout the country, and they raise about $5 million from that performance alone, and they had to go in and cancel it this year. So it's been very, very difficult year, and this is coming on the heels of Hurricane Harvey in 2017, which flooded the ballet building as well as the Wortham Theater where they perform and Houston Grand Opera performs. So we had to do massive adjustments in 2017 because of that disaster, and now we've got this year. So as a patron of the arts, I'm just, it's disturbing what's the adjustments everybody's having to go through this year.
Mm-hmm. And of course, also transitioning, going from the ballet as well, too. You've been involved in that. And with the pandemic, you also went from ballet over to creating a website involving fashion with Bethielife.com. And tell us about that website and what inspired you to create it.
Okay, so in 2011, I have two children, and my second one graduated and went off to college, and so I became an empty nester in 2011. And when you become an empty nester, especially for a female, a mother, it alters your life. You are on a new track, as they say, and it can be great and it can be difficult. So when I became an empty nester, I went through a metamorphosis of wanting to change for the second chapter of my life. And I became single. I had been married a very long time, and I became single. And for the first 2 years, I just, had a good time and went to music concerts and, just had a great time. And then in late 2013, I really sat down one day and said to myself, I'm ready to do something new. I want to do something with myself. I have a lot to offer. I'm still young, basically. And, but I don't know what I want to do. I know I don't want to go back and do a lot of the philanthropic work that I had done for 20 years before, other than Houston Ballet. I want to do something new. So I basically said it out loud and put it out to the universe and said, I have a lot to offer, but I don't know what I want to do. Give me some help. So, they say if 3 different people say the same thing to you, and they're all unrelated to each other, it's the universe trying to tell you something and nudge you in a certain direction. So shortly thereafter, right around the end of 2013, I had 3 different instances where people came up to me and said, hey, what are you up to? Like people I hadn't run into in a while. What are you up to? And I'd say, well, I don't know, but I'm working on it. And each of them looked at me and said, you should do something in fashion. And I was like, oh, I hadn't really thought about that. I've always cared about fashion, and it's always been a part of my life, but I've never thought about actually going into the field. Well, then I ended up at a party given by one of the local .com, online papers here, and went to the party. And then a couple days later, I was like, let me read about that party. And, I'm not sure what it was for. I just knew it was being put on. So I went on there, and they had, recognize some local Houston bloggers. And in 2013, I didn't even really know what a blogger was. I was like, oh, okay, I kind of know what that is. So I went and clicked on, there was about 6 of them that they had spoken about in this article that had been at the party. And a couple of them were, young mommy bloggers, a couple were beauty, a couple were interior design, but a couple were fashion. So I clicked on each one and I was like, well, this is interesting. And then I especially focused on the couple of fashion ones. Now, the fashion ones were women in their 20s. Young girls, but that has never held me back. And I looked on there and a light bulb just went off, and thank goodness for light bulbs. We all get them throughout our lives. Thank God for light bulbs.
I can use one as well, too. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and I was like, wait, I can do that. And in fact, nothing against these couple of gals, I can do it, different than that, and my own version of that. And I don't care that most bloggers are in their 20s. Age doesn't matter. It's you being authentic to yourself. So long story short, then in early 2014, after taking a bunch of pictures and creating a website, I launched Bethielife.com. So that's about 6 years ago. And it has been truly just a reflection of my new chapter in life, who I am. It's allowed me to be creative. It's allowed me to grow. It's allowed me to meet tons of people. It's exciting. And my website, not only have I evolved, my website has evolved over the last 6 years. And it's just been fantastic.
That is amazing, and we're on Bethielife.com, but before we talk about some of the website, who are some of your favorite, fashion designers growing up? And you got into fashion for a little bit. It was connected to ballet, and who are some of your favorite fashion designers or your favorite clothing line growing up?
Well, not as much growing up, but now I love anything Chanel. I love Dolce & Gabbana. I love Dior. I also love, I love clothes that look ballet-ish. I mean, if I find a skirt that looks like a modified tutu, I want to buy it. If I find like something that looks like a corset, I want to buy it. Mm-hmm. So there's always that flavor of me, that ballerina flavor. But yeah, there's a lot of designers, like I said, especially Dolce & Gabbana and Chanel, that I really love. I love Moschino. But I also love, some of the offbeat lines of designer, not necessarily designers, but just some offbeat lines that you'll see on the internet or what have you from different .coms. I like a mixture of different types of fashion. I mean, one day I might be in the mood for a black skirt and a off-white blouse and pearls, and then the next day I want to wear a bralette and shorty shorts that looks like I'm going to a music festival. Mm-hmm. I dress kind of all over the place. I am known for my signature bobby socks, mm-hmm. which I started wearing in about 2014. And back then, I was told people were sort of making fun of me behind my back at events. And then 2 years later, you saw bobby socks all over the magazines and in the fashion shows in New York and Paris. Now, I'm not saying they copied me. Maybe I was just a little ahead of the whirlwind, but no one makes fun of me over the bobby socks anymore.
I think you look great in bobby socks, I have to say that, although I personally haven't seen the picture, and with new technology, I can't see you wearing them, but, coming to mind with some of the clothes you're talking about, are there any plans for you to have your own clothing line, or any plans for you to design your own clothes, or have someone design for you?
No, that is not what I'm interested in, not designing my own clothes. I do like styling. I've had women come to me and say, you're really great at styling. I can go into a boutique, let's say it's a small boutique, and I can pull an outfit together that even boutique owners are like, oh, I wouldn't have thought to put that with that, with that, with that, So I really enjoy styling. So sometimes boutiques or stores or individual ladies will ask me to style for them. But otherwise, I just like enjoying fashion and wearing creations of other people.
Interesting. Being a stylist, don't forget the bobby socks.
Most women are like, Beth, I'm not going to wear the bobby socks like you do. I can't do that. But I'll do everything else,
Wait until wintertime. They sure can use some.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about your website, Bethielife.com, in just a minute, and upcoming plans. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com. It's powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and over 25 podcast platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with Beth Muecke of Bethielife.com, whose daughter is best known for being on Kendra and the Bunnies. She was on our program last month here on the Mike Wagner Show. And we'll go to Bethielife.com. We're on the homepage right here. You got fashion. You got Bethy's Crushes. I like that. Bethy, tell me more. First of all, tell us all about Bethy's Crushes. I like to hear about this one, and I need some coffee, by the way.
Okay, so my crushes. So what happened when I first developed my website, I obviously went to a web developing company because I didn't know how to actually create a website to put on the internet, And so I went in with my ideas and they helped create it. And then I stayed with them for about a year or two so they could help me through it. And then they pushed me out of the nest and I now run the thing completely on my own. Well, my point person there was a gal in her late 20s. And she got to know me. And one day I was in there and she said, every time I look at a local magazine or paper or .com, you're there with well-known people at a charity party or an event. Do you know all these people? And I said, yeah, I do, because I've been in the philanthropic world and social scene here for many, many years. And yeah, I know these people. And she was like, well, I would love to hear about those people. I'd love to hear where they shop, where they get their hair done, what their interests are. She said, and I said, well, I hadn't thought about it because I already know them, so I don't think about that. But she said, Beth, a lot of people would like to, take a peek into the lives of some of these well-known Houstonians. So together we created, I said, well, no problem. Why don't I develop a monthly, once a month, Woman Crush Wednesday or Man Crush Monday, and I'll profile one person a month. And I did that for 5 years. I profiled well over 60 people.
Wow.
And what made it unique was, first of all, I was the first website to do that in Houston. No one else had done it. Of course, a bunch do it now. But I was the first one to do that. And the other interesting thing was I created a 3D format of profiling these people. So first of all, I made arrangements with them to each of them, man or woman, bring 3 different outfits, and I'm going to take professional pictures of you in 3 different scenes in 3 different outfits. Number 2, I'm going to do a written interview, which will be put on my website. And number 3, we're going to film a video interview of you. So like I said, it's a 3-dimensional situation on my website. And to my surprise, most of these people, even high-profile people like news anchors or very well-known philanthropists or, magazine owners, all these people who are well-known, had never been personally interviewed in this manner. And they really all glommed onto the idea, and no one ever said no to me. Every time I said, hey, do you want to do this? They were all like, yes, yes. And they especially loved the video interview because you saw people talking about, they ended up kind of talking about personal things. I mean, cute personal things that maybe they wouldn't have spoken about, that nobody knows about them. Because I would ask them, what was your most embarrassing moment, or tell me something about yourself that no one else knows, and things like that. And it became very, very well received in Houston. And like I said, I did it for 5 years. I sort of stopped doing it in about 2017, 2018, just because it's a lot of work, and I'd gone through a lot of people, and I decided to take a break. And also, some of the other .coms in town have started doing not the exact same format, but similar, so I just kind of took a break. But I have to tell you, it was the best thing. It put my website very much on the map in Houston, and I also interviewed a few people in LA. But also, I really got to know a lot of people more in depth than I did. I knew a lot of them as acquaintances. But because of this vehicle, I ended up becoming good friends with several of them and getting to know them much better, which was just really enriching for me.
Mm-hmm. It sounds very enriching as well, too. And we have Beth Muecke from Bethielife.com here on the Mike Wagner Show. A few more minutes here, Beth. You've been fantastic. I really love your story, and thank you for your time. Just a few more minutes here. And what do you have plans coming up for 2020, 2021, and beyond when it comes to Bethielife.com?
Well, Bethielife.com will continue to plug along, trying to reflect the trends and fashions of 2021, as well as locations and backdrops in Houston and other cities that I hope to be able to travel to in 2021. And Beth Muecke looks forward to hopefully going back to some music festivals next year, doing a little more traveling, going to parties, supporting some of my local philanthropies by going to some of their galas, and kind of just getting back to life a little bit more normal next year.
Mm-hmm. And we're looking forward to it as well, too. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career, Beth?
I think my biggest influence in my career has been taking the time to decide to become authentically myself and to really dig into who I am and what I like, and not being afraid to expose that. So I've almost been my own influence through this next chapter in my life by saying, hey, you love ballet. I don't care how old you are, I'm going to put a tutu on. Hey, I love bobby socks and high heels. I'm going to do that. And just sort of being authentically myself. And if I see something I like, I put it on, not worrying if someone else likes it. I worry about if I like it. And that way I can go all the way from swimsuits to shorts to ball gowns and put that on my website. And I know that I love it, then I'm going to wear it.
That sounds amazing. And also another thing, what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Well, I guess I'll focus on the ladies because that's what I know best, is no matter what decade you are in your life, try to be authentic in who you are and what you want to do, and try to picture if you could just wake up one day and really be doing what you think you'd want to be doing. Try to focus on pursuing that avenue as best you can, and that will lead to contentment and happiness and fulfillment, whether you're 20 or whether you're 80.
Mm-hmm. And that's very good advice as well. Once again, Beth Muecke of Bethielife.com here on the Mike Wagner Show. Beth, the very big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Once again, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? And where can they check out your products and other things?
So you can find me on my website, which is bethielife.com. That is my main thing. And then you can also find me on Instagram under Bethielife, and you can find me on Facebook under Beth Muecke. I am on Twitter, but those are the 3 primary places you can find me in my fashions.
Sounds good. Once again, Beth, a very big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date. Love you back on in 2020, 2021, and beyond. And don't forget to wear the bobby socks.
Okay, thanks. Great talking to you.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, Custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.